WSAZ News Channel 3 tonight.
A mission to save lives to honor a man who died at the hands of a drunk driver. Good evening. I'm Tim here in Huntington.
I'm Amanda Barron in Charleston. We begin tonight with a severe weather alert. Rain is falling across the region tonight, and that, of course, is raising the flood threat.
Yeah, this was the scene at Pullman Square in Huntington tonight. While tonight's rain did cause very minor issues, this is really just the tip of the iceberg for what we may see in the next 24 hours. Tony Cavalier is in the Weather Center tracking what we can expect from this storm.
Well, this has certainly primed the ground with a half to an inch of rain already, and double that amount to come tomorrow, so another 1 to 2 inches on top of it. HD dual Doppler radar populated with a growing area of rain. And back to the west, take note, there is quite a bit of blue and pink. That's the changeover that we have to try to time getting into our area. First forecast, rainy skies, street flooding galore tomorrow morning into the afternoon. Slowly the temperature falling from the raw 40-degree range into the chilling, bone-chilling mid and upper 30s. And by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, especially west toward Portsmouth, some sleet accumulation could be going on. Weather headlines then. Flood watch, we're talking about high water issues tomorrow. Street flooding and maybe some streams too. We're tracking the ice line. The change from rain to ice expected tomorrow evening in the form of sleet. And by the way, a wintry weekend lies ahead for our local high school football denizens. We'll talk about that when I come back here in a few minutes.
All right. Hey, thanks, Tony. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The old adage apparently applies to the city of Huntington's latest efforts to curb flooding problems. Several of the normal high water spots seem to be much better than usual. News Channel 3's Kellyanne Chickalise joins us now live along 5th Avenue with a look at that area.
Thank you, Tim. Well, I'm down here in Huntington right now. Talk about being on completely different ends of the spectrum when comparing last night to tonight. It is cool, damp, and just downright gloomy out here tonight. Here on the east end, we are starting to see some signs of minor flooding. No major flood reports have come in yet, but we're seeing that rising water onto the sidewalks and gathering at the intersections of roadways. So just something to keep in mind as you head out the door this evening. But let's take a look at this graphic because it shows how much rainfall we have seen so far. Here in Huntington, we got just over 0.88 inches, which is a nice amount at this point. Heading out into Charleston near that half-inch range, Arabia near Ironton, Ohio, they got just over an inch, and Ashland at 0.8 inches. Those are solid rainfall totals at this point. Persistent rainfall is getting heavier at this point here in Huntington, and this rainfall is looking to be persistent overnight and as we head into tomorrow, and getting heavy at points for tomorrow. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got near that 2 to 3 inch range, and that range would be enough to cause flooding in many areas within the viewing area. And keep in mind, folks, the viaducts here in Huntington, they flood pretty easily, so we could easily see those viaducts flooding for tomorrow late afternoon and evening, making travel in and out of Huntington very difficult. So regardless, if you're trying to gauge how tomorrow night's travel will be, don't compare it to tonight. It's going to be completely different. Very heavy rainfall. We're also seeing cooler temperatures heading our way, which means ice development and possibly even some slushy conditions heading in from the west. Tony will have more on this coming up.
All right, thanks, Kellyanne. And yeah, that full forecast is coming up a little bit later on. And as both Kellyanne and Tony mentioned, today was basically a setup. We get all that rain tomorrow, and we are looking at a much different story.
The flooding threat is causing big concern for people in the Kanawha Valley. People in the South Charleston area are still cleaning up after August heavy rain and flooding. Now their fears of a muddy mess are being raised once again. Paula Butcher lives just outside the city limits. Her driveway was completely destroyed by the August flood. It's taken 4 months and $8,000 to redo the driveway, but there's still work to be done. And after hearing about the potential for more flooding tonight, she is concerned her hard work and money will be washed away.
It's scary. Anytime you hear the word flooding, I was never afraid out here, but now anytime you hear the word flooding, it's terrifying.
Now, she does say that the West Virginia Department of Transportation crews were out working on fixing part of the road that washed away with her driveway, but it hasn't been paved just yet. We also checked with Kanawha County officials today. They say their unit is on standby for the incoming wet weather.
Our team of meteorologists are tracking this storm even when we're not on the air, so you can get an up-to-the-minute forecast anytime by heading over to WSAZ.com. Also, don't forget that you can download the WSAZ mobile and First Warning weather apps for your smartphone. Plus, you can follow us on Facebook and on Twitter. Tony will be back with that detailed look at the forecast coming up in just about 10 minutes.
A fallen deputy is being honored in Putnam County with special DUI patrols. Deputy Larry Eddie Miller was killed in 2006 by a drunk driver. News Channel 3's Michael Klaus just got back from that DUI checkpoint, and Michael, his family is working to make sure that no one else has to deal with the kind of loss they did.
That's right, Amanda. It's been 7 years since Miller was killed in that accident involving a drunk driver, but his memory, well, it's still fresh. And tonight, deputies honored that memory. They formed this DUI checkpoint on Route 817 near Winfield. The spot was actually right near the Shawnee Estates. Now that is where Deputy Miller grew up. Because of these checkpoints, as well as increased education for drunk drivers, the number of drunk driving incidents has taken a positive turn.
The number of DUIs has dwindled in recent years. However, we feel that one on our highways is one too many, so we take every effort possible to try to catch those that are out here doing things they shouldn't be.
Now, due to the rain and the dangerous driving conditions, officers actually had to suspend that checkpoint just after 9 o'clock tonight, though. I did see a few people pulled off the road to do extra tests. Amanda?
All right, Michael, thanks so much. Now, they are going to continue with the saturation patrols for the rest of the evening to be on the lookout for any drunk drivers. Well, the world is in mourning tonight with the passing of former South African President Nelson Mandela. He'd been dealing with recurring lung infections and been hospitalized several times because of it. Mandela served as president of South Africa from 1994 to 99. Before that, he spent nearly 3 decades in prison for conspiring to overthrow the government. Mandela was 95 years old. We have an update now to a breaking news alert out of Kanawha County. All eastbound lanes of Interstate 64 are back open right now after this tractor-trailer accident backed up traffic for a long ways. The truck jackknifed about 5 o'clock this evening. It was between the cross lanes and Institute exits. 200 feet of guardrail was destroyed in the crash, and gallons of diesel fuel was spilled onto the road. Everything has been cleaned up, and things are back to normal now. We continue to follow a developing story out of Marmette, where police are looking for a man who escaped custody about an hour after he turned himself in. Police say they were taking Troy White Jr. in custody for an armed robbery when he escaped. There he is on your screen. He's accused of stealing $450 in that robbery. Well, the police chief of Marmette tells us this is the first time someone has turned themselves in and then taken off.
As Detective Buttrick was fingerprinting him, I guess he decided he didn't want to go. He was on probation anyhow, and he was very cooperative, and the next thing we know, he's out the front door.
All right, White Jr. has a teardrop tattoo beside his left eye and a cross tattoo beside his right eye. He also has a tattoo on the right side of his neck. He's believed to be armed and dangerous. If you see him, simply call 911. He is wanted on felony warrants, and now because of this incident will be facing more charges. A well-known attorney in Logan County is facing some legal trouble tonight after he allegedly got into a fight with a state trooper. State police say that Ben White went into a pizza shop in West Logan last night. Several troopers were eating when White is accused of making an obscene gesture toward them. Now, White was asked to leave. State police say he began to yell and he shoved a trooper. He's been charged with battery on a police officer. You might recognize White. He represented Logan Middle School student Jared Markham during that NRA t-shirt controversy a couple months ago. A former assistant fire chief in Boone County was arrested this morning, charged with embezzling thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds. State police say Larry Nunnery stole the money from the fire levy funds. They say he used the money to buy things like food, a lawnmower, even a gas grill for his personal use. Fire officials noticed red flags when they went over expenses. They contacted state police, who say the thefts had been going on for the past year.
I could use my house fixed, and I work hard for my money, and he's out there stealing it and not. That's not right.
Nunnery has since resigned from the department. He posted bond today. Well, we now know the name of the man who's accused of leading police on a wild chase in Dunbar and leaving a lot of destruction in the path. Police say they tried to stop John McKinney yesterday morning on Roxalana Road. He didn't stop and ended up crashing into cars, 8 of them that were parked at the Roxalana Hills apartment complex. McKinney faces several charges when he's released from the hospital. A Kanawha County mom will avoid jail time after she admitted to not sending her daughter to school. Rhonda Smith was sentenced to 1-year probation today for second offense truancy. Her daughter's already missed 17 days of school this year. You might remember Smith was the first parent ever sentenced to jail in Kanawha County on truancy charges. In 2012, her daughter missed more than 47 days of school. From the Buckeyes to the Mountaineers, the Board of Governors at West Virginia University has chosen E. Gordon Gee to be the interim president. Our media partner, West Virginia Metro News, says the university will make the announcement tomorrow. Gee was most recently the president of Ohio State University. Now, he did serve as WVU's president from '81 to '85. Before that, Gee was dean of the WVU College of Law. The debt load for college graduates is up. A recent report shows a 2012 graduate owed more than $29,000 in college loans. That's up from about $26,000 from 2011. The study shows rising tuition coupled with stagnant incomes are major reasons for this increase. Well, college debt was just one of the things Senator Joe Manchin talked about today as he made a stop at West Virginia State University and Institute. Nothing was off limits today. Students and faculty had the chance to ask questions. They talked about the national debt, immigration reform, even Obamacare. We caught up with one student who said she didn't want to miss the opportunity to get in on this conversation.
I'm from West Virginia, so I've been here my whole life. I don't believe I've ever met him before. So it was kind of interesting, and then I just kind of wanted to do my part. I kind of felt responsible being a leader of the student body.
Education stays on the agenda tomorrow morning. Senator Manchin will continue his statewide tour. He'll be speaking to a 4th grade class at Mountain View Elementary School in Teays Valley. 2 schools in Kanawha County are getting some money to help create a healthier environment. The Highmark Foundation presented a check to George Washington High School this morning. It's all a part of the Creating a Healthy School initiative. Lakewood Elementary and St. Albans also received a check today. These mini grants will help the school integrate wellness into the overall school environment and lesson plans.
It's for the whole school. And even when we graduate and go on, this school will still be helped overall by this grant and will continue to be helped by this grant.
And those are the guys that wrote that grant. Well, we do have a school closing to pass along to you tonight. Dunlow Elementary in Wayne County will be closed tomorrow because there's no water there. The rest of the schools in Wayne County will operate on normal schedule, but Dunlow, you're off the hook tomorrow. Well, the doors are open to a new spa in Putnam County. Sprout officially opened its new location tonight, its new store tonight, I should say. The new salon will offer massages, haircuts, and nail services, and much more. The owner tells us she's excited about what this new opportunity will bring.
You've got so much talent in this building. We created something that you won't see in this area.
The new spa is on Teays Valley Road in Scott Depot. The sights and sounds of the season rolled through Nitro tonight. The Montgomery family, they're from Portsmouth, Ohio, but they make all of this possible. They take this old train caboose all over the East Coast, spreading Christmas cheer. Get this, they even talk train safety, but most of all, it's about a fun night for families to enjoy.
We try to make it good for the kids. And kids and trains go together, irregardless of how you look at it. Kids and trains go together.
And the kids and trains will go together tomorrow because they roll into Canova next. Still ahead here at 11, what lies beneath a discovery some find shocking, but historians say there's no need to be spooked.